Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7 on hot7025fm.com.
Yo, it's Tavon Greatness Patterson. Want to listen to Hot 702.5 on the go? Download the Hot 702.5 app on the Apple Store or Google Play Store if you got an Android like me.
Let's get it. Hi. Hey.
What's up? All your favorite artists.
Check it out. Say my name. DJ Khaled.
This is Mila J.
Bruno Mars.
On hot7025fm.com.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Cheryl Underwood, and you're tuned into the hottest news station on the planet, Hot 702.5.
Tune in now on hot7025fm.com.
I'm back. It's another beautiful Wednesday afternoon, night now. Dang, I got all of this stuff on still from work. I forgot about all of that. Anyway, definitely been a great week for me. Hopefully it's been a great week for y'all. I got a lot done. Last week I ended up catching a little, I thought it was a cold, but it was seasonal allergies, everybody, so it wasn't that bad. I went to the doctor because I just couldn't figure out what was going on, bless you, with that. So it was just seasonal allergies, nothing major, nothing too big, just dehydrated. So I got to be drinking plenty of water now, because it definitely ain't where it used to be. Or my water drinking is not where it used to be. But, so on and so forth. This past week, let me see anything major other than that little thing going on. I've been getting more sleep. That bed feels amazing to sleep in. And I've been getting way more sleep than normal, which is great. Not too bad. I'm pretty happy about that. I've just been trying to wear myself out with the little ones. And that does the trick every single time. Is there anything that you all should really know about this past week? For the most part, there was a post that I made on social media probably about a week ago now. And I want to bring a little clarity to that. The post is the post, but I want to say something to it. And this is just me speaking for the fellas, right? Whenever a woman is pregnant and carrying a child, that woman will never have to question that baby being hers, regardless of what goes on or what's happening. If she cheats on her husband, she'll never question that baby belongs to her. As men, we don't have that same luxury. To know for sure that baby is ours. It's not a given fact for us to just know and can say for sure because there's too many stipulations that can happen to that. So with that being said, it's like I won't put nobody else's business out there, right? But I have valid reasons as to why I feel that way. And the other person understands, or if they don't, it's fucked up, but they should. So all the women that have something to say to me about that, you'll never be able to really understand mentally what a man goes through of having doubts about a child being his or not being his. Just not knowing for sure. And then having something happen that furthermore pushes that insecurity into your head. So that's what I say to that. If you don't want to try to understand, it's all good. But I won't take it back, and I don't feel bad because mentally, I'm going through it, right? So it is what it is. That's one thing I did want to make a point to on that one. I'm not taking it back. I don't feel bad. It is what it is at the end of the day. I feel a type of way, and I deserve reassurance just like the next person does. And unfortunately, that's something that I've yet to really receive. So it is what it is. Okay, all right, now that that's gone, now that that's out the way for you, there is nothing else that I really do care to touch on for the last week. Everything else has been pretty good, pretty cool. I hope you all enjoyed Cinco de Mayo. That was great. Work was pretty cool this weekend. We actually had Gene in town this weekend, and he did meet and greets with some peers, which they had dinner and stuff with them. Turned out to be great for the entire weekend. I met a lot of cool people, heard a lot of great stories, and I'm pretty sure I'll see more of them more down the road. So definitely we'll say that. Also, with that being said, at work, I don't really, I tell you guys all the time, I do work for Kiss Kiss World is our new name, right? We do have mini golf, which is glow in the dark theme, full 18 holes. Now, we are located inside the Rio. So if you guys ever want to come by the Rio and, play some mini golf, come and see me. You know what I mean? And we all have local discounts as well, too, so that'll be something that's pretty cool for y'all. I might do something one day on the show where I'll host like a little competition for y'all to win some free passes after I speak with my manager and get that approved and definitely get that through y'all, so no worries there. Okay, so other than that, I think that's really good to go. That's up for the week. I don't really have too much to really talk about for the past week other than the fact that I got over those allergies kicking my ass. Man, that cough was horrible. But it was a dry one, apparently, right? Just allergies acting up. All right, so for today's topic, the first thing I do want to talk about is love, right? A lot of people have this conception, or they have this idea of what love is, but a lot of people also have the wrong idea for it. One thing I like to talk about when it comes to that is, someone asked me, like, what can you sit up there and talk passionately about for 30 minutes, which I won't do it for 30 minutes today. I've got other things we got to get to. But I told them love is definitely something I can sit there and talk about passionately for at least half an hour, easy, light work, no problem. And one of the reasons I like talking about it is because people will sit up here and they will claim all the time, like, love hurts, love stinks, love this, and love doesn't hurt, right? Love is the only thing in this world that does not hurt. It's the only thing that makes you actually feel butterflies and feel good inside. So to give you a better reference, when I say love doesn't hurt, you got people saying, well, they cheated on me. And, so that person hurted you. That person hurt you. That's what happened. But that wasn't love, right? It wasn't love. So they may have disrespected you, but that person disrespected you. Love didn't hurt you at all. Maybe the person did, or what they did hurt you. But it wasn't love, right? Because love is the only thing that's going to make you feel better about whatever the situation is or what's going on. And I actually have a quote from one of my favorite actors, Liam Neeson. Actually, he had a quote that he has. But you know what? Let me go to that quote first. Let's see. So he says, everyone says love hurts, but that is not true. Loneliness hurts, rejection hurts, losing someone hurts, envy hurts. Everyone gets these things confused with love. But in reality, love is the only thing in this world that covers up all pain and makes someone feel wonderful again. Love is the only thing in this world that does not hurt. Okay? And the reason why I love that statement so much is because why is everyone so confused with feeling like love is the thing that's causing all this pain when it's really the people they choose to deal with or be around? Like, where do you get the idea that this is that it's just love, or it's not love, or it's love that's hurting you? No. So somebody cheated on you, that person hurt you. Somebody disrespected you or said something that hurt your feelings. What they said hurt your feelings, or what they did hurt you. But let's not get envy and jealousy and all of that confused with the fact of what love really is, because if that's how you feel, it's crazy. It's very crazy. Now, I always tell everybody that, because no matter what it is when it comes to love, it's infinite. Love is always infinite. You can always create more. There's always more available to make and create and give. And people say that's not true, and I put it like this, especially if you're a parent with more than one child. Every time you have another child, you don't stop loving the ones you had less because another one came. You give that new one just as much love as you give the other ones, no matter how many it may be. You give them all the same amount of love. You're going to love them all unconditionally. You may have different relationships with your children, but you're going to love them all the same. So when you say love is not infinite, then how do you explain the fact that when a new kid comes in, you still give just as much love to the new kid as you did the previous ones, or one? Right? Because, again, love is infinite. It doesn't go anywhere. And, it does not hurt at all. It does not hurt. I think the real issue is a lot of people are getting lust confused with love in our generation. In today's time in society, period, today and the next generation, I feel like they have it confused with lust. everyone is so sex cringed and, just jumping into bed with who and what for no reason. And they're just figuring out, oh, well, because this feels good, it must be love. And it's confusing because you're putting a standard on yourself that even you don't know of, I feel like if you knew the true definition of what love is or the true actions of love, instead of trying to make this perception of what love is in your own words or own way, you'd have a better experience with it. But if we're all sitting here trying to create our own form or our own definition for love, doesn't it get lost in translation somewhere down the road? I would assume it does. I mean, to me. And I say that because, like, no matter who has ever hurt me in the past, no matter what somebody has done to me, I try to remember the good memories from people, right? The love that I did have for them is what keeps me from saying, you know what, I hope that person dies, for lack of a better word. I can remember the goodness that people have in them, but that doesn't mean I have to keep tolerating and dealing with that person. You know what I mean? I even said something recently to the point where, I'm at the point where my love is turning into resentment for some people. And just because, it's not saying that I don't love them anymore, but I'll just resent the way that they make me feel about them now. I resent the way that they are. I resent them as people because they've taken every bit of love I've tried to give to them and they've just twisted, turned, and burned it any way they can. They just don't give a fuck. So ultimately, to me, that love has turned into resentment because why are you treating me like that out of all people? To each his own. Everyone does what they want to do. But again, love is love. But it doesn't hurt you. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to be the one to do it for you. And I said that because the next topic I want to talk about today is actually marriage. So I just wanted to bring up love a little bit, kind of give a little example of that, kind of let it be known like love does not hurt. Just remember that love is something that's going to make you feel better. It's going to give you butterflies. It's going to make you feel like heaven is right next door to you, right? And it's very infinite, so you can always create more. But before I actually go into the marriage, I did have something that I needed to bring up from last week, from the previous show. I had something I did not share. I was talking about vulnerability, and grief. And this is just something that I got to remember to say to y'all before, and I'll move on to the marriage section of the show today. So I'm just going to read something, and then we can go from there. Now, the damage of a child's death is so dark and severe that a parent cannot see the full picture because of the tragedy. It may take a lifetime to understand that within that dark and ugly place, there was a beauty and love there so strong that not even death could dishevel it. That, in fact, the beauty is that the love continues even after and through death. And the impact of that trauma brings us closer to the love that we shared for that person and all the ways love of that individual has affected our lives and the lives of others. The secondary beauty that has an everlasting ripple effect on other people's lives and through eternity is what living is truly about. All about the quality and not so much the quantity. Life is a teacher and love is the reward in all its forms. When we can see love where darkness used to reside, we can finally turn our lives and those around us into something glorious. That is called collateral beauty. Just had to touch on that because I don't know if you guys remember, but we talked about grief. We talked about all of this, but in the forms of me talking about that last week, that was one of the things I wanted to bring up because people talk about death and they can't see the true beauty in the darkness that we all that we all have around in a death, right? So I shared that with my mother. Because when around the time my brother passed away, it was kind of hard for her to actually deal with a lot, and I felt like it wouldn't solve it or fix it, but I feel like those words were encouraging. It would lift her up a bit and help her out, help her get through this tragedy and hard times we're having. So I wanted to share that with y'all as well, in case you're ever going through some place where you're losing a loved one and you don't really know what to talk about or how to talk or what to talk through. Now, sorry for this next topic. I'm going to say something at the beginning, and I'm going to say it at the end as well, okay? Marriage is like pancakes. It is okay to throw the first one out. It is perfectly fine if that's how you feel. So, now we want to talk about marriage. I actually want to give you guys the definition of it. Some have a misunderstanding of marriage because they just feel like as long as we have these so-called soul ties, we're good to go. And Sometimes you can marry without having soul ties. But the definition of marriage, the legally or formally recognized union of two people as partners in a personal relationship, historically and in some jurisdictions specifically, a union between a man and a woman. Okay? That is the definition of love. So, or sorry, the definition of marriage. My apologies. Wrong thing. Wrong topic. So I say that because a lot of people talk about marriage and they take marriage very light. Like when someone says they want to be married, a lot of the times it's just a want, right? They're just talking, and I feel a lot of people have the capability of getting married but not staying married. I think a lot of people want the joy of saying they're married, or they look at it as a title, as a token, right? And you know how that goes normally. We get the title or token or something, like, yeah. Once you've gotten it, it's like, okay, what's next, right? I think a lot of people are so set on the word marriage that once they get married, they don't really understand what it takes to put in the work to stay married, right? People will put in the time, the effort, the consistency to actually go ahead and do what needs to be done. They'll do everything up until the wedding day. Once that ring gets on those fingers, then it's like a complete light switch. Sometimes, not all the time, just sometimes. Sometimes it takes a minute to kick in for that light switch to be flipped. But typically, people just want the title of it. They just want to say, oh, I'm married. You know what I mean? Hey, I'm married. Hey, I got a wife. Hey, I got a husband. And that's all it really is to them, is a title, right? They're not thinking about the effort it takes to make a marriage work, the work ethic you have to put in with each other, the change you have to do for yourself and your partner. The respect you should have for each other is also something that, some people don't realize and see. Honestly, it's just some people say communication is key for their marriage, but they don't understand that comprehension is the real key. Because we can communicate all day long back and forth, but if neither one of us comprehend what's going on, we're going to keep having the same argument, the same discussion time after time again. And boy, I'll tell you now, those same conversations get tired after a while. You become over it. You no longer care about it. You don't want to deal with it. It doesn't matter to you, right? It's all just a bunch of bullshit. It's just like, fuck it. I've done what I can. It is what it is. I don't understand why some people will get into a marriage, and once that marriage is there, they just completely act like a completely different person. They literally go from showing you this sunny side person to showing you their for lack of a better word, their evil side, And you like, where the fuck did this come from? Right? You're like, where did this come from? And the reason is because I don't think we all take the time to really get to know people like we used to, or like people used to before us in older generations. I had a guest today at work, and we had one of the greatest conversations when it came to marriage. He said, well, people will do what it takes to get married, but not a lot of people are fit to be married. Not a lot of people are supposed to actually get married. Typically, a lot of people want to get married for the title, for the name, to say that they are, and then they go ahead and get married and do everything they said they wouldn't. So basically, every vow they've spoken to each other, it gets swept under the rug. They don't care about those vows, really. All they care about is the fact that they're both staying together, or they're both married, or they can say they're married, right? But those couples you see having that issue, they're either cheating on each other all the time, right? Or they're going to get, the divorce sooner or later. And when you look at those kind of marriages and look at society, is that something you want to be in? Which a lot of people, that's what's going on. They see how society is with marriage today, and it's just not worth it, especially for the men. We don't really get a lot out of marriage, but you get in our last names. Because, if you feel like you decide you want to leave because you just don't want to be there no more, we've got to pay alimony on top of child support. If we've got kids with you, we've got to make sure we take care of spousal support, or alimony, same difference. But you have so much that you lose and sacrifice as a man, but still we do it because we feel like if we can show a woman that we actually want to spend our lives with her, this will work out better in a relationship. We don't have to worry about her having doubts and insecurities and all of that. But what the guy told me is, he said, it's not up to you to fix or heal anybody's insecurities when it comes to marriage. If you are married to someone that's having insecurities or doubts, it is your job to give them reassurance. But it is not your job to heal anyone. They have to do that on their own. A lot of people take trauma from the past, unfortunately, and they can't let go of it. So when they get married, because Jeff cheated on her 5 years ago, she's going to feel like you're going to do it. Or because Tyler was the guy that lied all the time, she's going to feel like you're going to do it. Even though you may have not shown any kind of sign that any one of those past men have done, it's still on you as a responsibility to make sure it never happens again. You know, the funny thing he said is 9 times out of 10, the man doesn't even know what issue she has that needs to be worked on. Right? He said men will make the jump to marry a woman because when we make that jump, we're all in. And we want to be with them. We chose the woman we want. We have no doubts about it. He says, as far as some women, you have different reasons on why they get married. Some feel like they have that biological clock ticking. Some just want to do it for the, to say they're married. Some want to do it because it's not that you're the only option, but you're the best option so far, right? And he says that to say, they've gotten offers from other men, but it's not the offers that they want. And when I heard that, I went into a little spiel about how I feel like I think that's an issue as well with marriage. People want to go around trying to say what they want when really you should be focused on what you need out of a partner versus what you want out of a partner. Because if you have a hard time taking accountability, you don't need a partner that's going to sit up there and just say, oh, it's okay, it's good to go and sweep it under the rug every time. You need a partner that's going to help you focus and realize it's okay to be accountable. You need a partner that's going to force you to say, you know what, I apologize, I could have done this different. My bad. Simple as that. Some things are very simple and easy. But when you have these people coming to be married just off of sheer, I want to do it, or I want people to know, or I want a ring on my finger, it's never going to turn out for the better. Because believe it or not, a lot of people marry just for stability. A lot of women will tell you, like, I may not love them a lot, but we're stable. I got stability with them. And that is probably like the saddest thing I've heard that, from some of these women. It's like, man, it's stability that's keeping you there. Like, that man is probably thinking y'all are in love with each other like no other. And the whole time, you only worried about the fact that he can provide a roof over your head and pay some bills. It's kind of crazy. Sounds like you're using him to me. And, some men are okay with being used, unfortunately. I know it sounds crazy, but some men are actually okay with being used. They don't mind it. It's perfectly fine. It's okay to do so. But you can't, my thing with marriage is take it as serious as I'm going to take it. You can't come into it half-assed. You can't come into it being disrespectful. You can't come into it, with the hopes of, running away when you get uncomfortable. Marriage is a very serious thing, and a lot of people don't take that. They don't take that serious at all. A lot of people say, well, how can you speak on that subject? Because if you know, or if you've been listening long enough, I definitely was married. So going into the next part of that, yes, my marriage failed. You know what I mean? It did. And ultimately, it's all because of what I allowed to happen to me. Okay? I literally, at the time, when we were messing around again, I just said it. Like, listen, I don't want to play games anymore. I'm over the games. I'm over the back and forth. Like, here's the thing. If we're going to do this time, I want to go all the way. I want to do the whole 9 yards. I want the family. I want the white picket fence. I want it all. And if you know me in general in life, I've always been a family man. I've always wanted my own little family. Since I was a wee baby or wee little lad, whatever you want to call it. When I was a kid, I couldn't wait to get older to start my own family. That was the biggest thing I look forward to. There was nothing else more exciting to me than starting my own family. I kid you not, nothing else. So getting older, getting into marriage, my sole focus was staying married. It really was. However, again, marriages just don't work out sometimes. Sometimes you're just not meant to be with each other. And I just feel like certain people want other people. And sometimes they settle for you. Sometimes they settle and they call it a day. And it is what it is. Everything's okay. But me and my marriage specifically, I wholeheartedly believe that my kid's mom settled when it came to me. I don't think that I was where she really wanted to be. I think that the person she really wanted passed away. But because he's no longer here, she just settled for me. And that's the God honest truth. She has never done anything to make me feel like that's different, that I'm lying. She's always made me feel like that's the truth. That's how she's always made me feel, that that's exactly right, that she don't want me. And it took a while to really realize that. It took a minute to really understand that. There's conversations that have been had where it's like, we talk about what she's done for somebody in the past versus me. And it's like, these dudes are just like, they do you wrong. You know what I mean? Like, they not good men. They not me. They don't take care of you, make sure they look out for the best of you. Like, they don't do none of it. But you gave them the world. You gave them everything. Everything I've ever asked for, you given to them. But I come along and I give you everything you asked for, and I don't get 10% of what they get. And then when I'm asking, why don't I get what they get when I'm doing everything you want me to? And the only excuse I get is, well, I was retarded for them, or I was dumb back then. That hurts. You know what I mean? Because I feel like if you were dumb for them, you should be retarded for me. That's how I felt. But again, you know what I mean? You feel the type of way. You don't get the reassurance you want. You don't get the fight you want. You just get, people want to do them. People want to be them. I think my marriage showed me that people are going to be selfish. That's what I learned. Everyone has that argument about people raised on love versus people raised on survival. And I was raised on survival versus where she was raised on love. And I don't feel like, you know what I mean? Like with that situation with the marriage failing, I don't sit up there and say, it was me that caused the marriage to fail. The other person did. And they know very well, you know what I mean? It is what it is. But that's crazy, right? It's weird to sit up here and, how do I say this? It's weird to sit up here and realize that you were dealing with someone that wanted somebody else the entire time, right? But with all of that being said, I allowed myself to get treated that way. Like, I allowed it to happen. It's like I knew better and I still did it. But my thought process was, like, we both want this. We both here to make this work. We're both here to put in the work. We're both here to put in the effort. And that wasn't the case at all. You know what I mean? It was at a point in time where, I slept on my own couch just to make sure she was comfortable. You know what I mean? I gave up my entire room. That went unnoticed. Nobody cares about that, right? Nobody cares that I make myself uncomfortable to help out and make sure, little things like that. But the biggest reason my marriage failed is because my partner that I was married to, my partner doesn't believe in fighting. She didn't believe in, doing what it takes to make a marriage work. Every time there was a problem or she was uncomfortable, she just ran back home to her mother. She ran back home, she left, and she would just keep leaving. No matter how much I would express, the fact that I don't feel like that's okay. You shouldn't leave, you shouldn't walk away, because, I feel like when you're in a marriage, you're there through thick and thin, for better or for worse, right? For better or for worse, or at least that's what they say. And I felt like every opportunity my partner had to leave or to get away, she took, with no doubt, no ifs, ands, or buts. But me, on the other hand, I sat there, no matter how uncomfortable I got, no matter how unhappy I was, no matter how bad things were getting. I stayed around. I stuck around because that's what you do in a marriage. You fight. You want to be there. And it's just like, it made me feel so stupid. It made me feel so retarded for wanting someone so bad that I would lower my own standards just to be around them. Because I just didn't care. I didn't care as long as she was there. So when now in today's time, you fast forward and you look at me and you say, like, was there something you could have done differently to avoid the marriage failing? And I couldn't have just got married. I could have just stayed single, honestly. I put in a lot of work to make it work and make it happen. I put in a lot of effort. I did a lot of work on myself for her to make sure she was comfortable, to make sure she was at a peace of mind, to make sure she was secure in the relationship. But I got none of that in return. I really feel used the entire time. I feel very used. I also feel, kind of stupid in a way for allowing someone to treat me so wrong, so disrespectful. The biggest thing that I feel in a marriage is respect. You should have that. And there was just none there at all, right? And I'm a pretty open guy. Like, I express myself a lot. You know, I say how I feel, what's bothering me, where it's coming from. I say it all. You know, I'm actually pretty open about trying to make things better. And I'm not going to lie. If I can't come to you and I keep trying to come to you and you just won't let me, you won't hear me, you just keep playing victim, especially in situations you've created, I'm going to just be quiet. I've done enough talking. You're not hearing me. You're not listening to me. So I've done enough talking. I've done enough research to know what's going on. So, you know, in my eyes, like, it is what it is. This just isn't what you want, and we're just prolonging for no reason, right? Do I see myself getting married again? Is a tough question, because marriage is something that I do not care for anymore. However, if I was to meet the right woman with, you know, we have the right vibe, right connection, the perfect understanding. It doesn't have to be her perfect, but we have the right understanding with each other. We have the good communication, you know, 2, 3, 4 years in maybe, then I'll probably consider it. I would probably consider it. Because at that point, I probably would have found somebody that puts just as much interest into the marriage as I do, you know, so it'll be a mutual thing. Again, you know, mine wasn't the best. Was it a learning lesson? Indeed it was, right? I learned what to deal with, what not to deal with. But ultimately, I was just dealing with a woman that was ungrateful, unappreciative, and just didn't care. That's all it was. I've done my dwelling about the situation. You know, I've had my bad days. I've had my good days about it. That's why I continue to go to therapy, right? Therapy's great. It's a great foundation to be on. That's why I continue to talk to you all and let you know as you see a journey. But I will give a shout out to a friend here, because the friend said, you're steady going on, but I think you need to speak your truth more about what happened in your marriage and why you think your marriage failed. So, you know, that's what I'm here for today. Some people might get ruffled up by this. Some people may get their feelings hurt, but I mean, in all fairness, so did I. I got to stop laughing at that because it's not funny, but it is. So did I. But yeah, man, like, it's ruined the whole entire thing of marriage for me, because it's like no matter how well I communicated or I sat my partner down to try to explain how I felt or what I was going through, you know, like it got to the point where I've spoken to that partner and let him know how my mental was, you know, how I need help. And like most of the time I just get laughed at, man, for lack of a better word. It's like I'm a joke. You know what I mean? Everything's funny to them when it comes to my mental, and nothing that I have going on is really legit. It's all because, you know, I'm just having a bad day apparently. But to each his own, you know, like that person will feel how they feel. I will continue to feel how I feel, right? Regardless of the situation. And it was a journey, you know what I mean? To accept that the person you married didn't accept you or didn't want you. Like, that was quite of a journey to be on, to sit up there and say, like, I don't get it. I'm going to work. I'm paying bills. I'm taking care of the kids. When you need something, I got you. You know, I just didn't get it, because you hear women say all day, that's the kind of man they want, one that's going to provide and protect. And I did all of that, and I wasn't appreciated. But again, that's all because I wasn't the person she really wanted. I was just a second choice. I was just the option that was there because I looked better than the other options that were on the table. That's all it was. But that number one pick, if he was still alive, she would be with him. I'm just being honest. That's exactly what would happen and what it would be. Does that make me feel some type of way? Personally, it did at first, because I just, like, you know, I was like, why him? Like, why am I not good enough for you? Why would it have to be him? Right? But then I just realized some people just don't appreciate what they have in front of them. Because I guarantee you all, the minute I actually marry again and I'm, you know, all over social media and I'm happy and everybody sees it, I guarantee you it'll be a problem for the other party. And I wouldn't give a fuck at the end of the day. Like, you didn't appreciate me while you had me, so now you get to watch somebody else do it. And I've always told her, you're going to push me into the arms of another woman. And it was just like, whatever. obviously it didn't matter. I should have caught on then, right? It was so funny. Like I tell everybody this, and till this day I'll never take this back. I'll always admit that that's how I felt. When I first saw that woman in Del Monaco, when I was 15, 16 years old, whatever the case may have been, I told everybody it was love at first sight. And I stuck to it. Because obviously I married her 14, 15 years later, right? Or, wait. 11 years later, 11, 12 years later, I married her, right? So obviously I wasn't lying about that. Do y'all know right after we got married, I said that to her, and she said, I still don't believe in that. I should have took the fucking signs, huh? I should have took them while I could. But I don't hate her. I appreciate the lesson she taught me. I blame myself more than anything because it's like I knew better and I still did it. So that was my fault for putting myself in a situation where I could be hurt again, right? So that's all on me at the end of the day. That's all on me. What I will say is, like, as far as the effort goes, as far as the appreciation goes, as far as, what I did as a man goes, like, I will definitely take my time next time around instead of just putting myself all the way out there like that. Next time around with whatever woman I choose to deal with, or if I end up, being with her long term, I'm going to make you work just as hard for it as you're going to make me work for it, which we shouldn't have to, but that's the way society is today. So if I do ever happen to get married again, y'all will know it's because, which I would love to have the ideal marriage of a family under the same roof. We have a happy marriage, right? And one thing I want to get out of y'all heads is fairy tale marriages do not exist. We're not going to be happy 24/7. We're not going to be hot chocolate and bonfires every single day. We're going to argue. We're going to have disagreements. We're going to be uncomfortable. But that's what makes the marriage stronger. Getting through it all. Fighting through it all. Talking through it all. You can't claim you want to fight, but turn and run every single chance you get. You're not a fighter to me. You're a wannabe. Obviously. You like to run from responsibility, in my eyes. So you can't tell me that, and then you constantly run away. So I'll never believe it. And I'm telling y'all now. You can't come to me and try to date me and deal with me, and then every time something goes wrong in our relationship, you just want to leave and walk away and you done? No, I'm good. I'm good. That already shows me red flags, because when I have issues in my relationships, when I have a problem, I'll come and sit you down. Like, hey, listen, this is what's going on. Let's talk about it. Let's have a conversation about it. I'll never get that same respect back, right? I'll never get it back. So ultimately, I did try the marriage thing, and it was everything I thought it wasn't going to be. Mentally, it did a lot to my mental. It damaged me a lot and it hurt me a lot. I will say that. It's taken me. I still have my guard up with a lot of people. It's going to take me a while to let that guard down, to let those walls be broken. But I feel like with the right person, if they got the right tools, right, the right building tools, they'll knock them walls down with no problem. So I'll just say that. Like, I'm a bit of an asshole, right? And it may not be fair to everybody, but I also go off of the way you approach me. So just remember that you get whatever side of me you get when you meet me is how you met me, the way you approach me, the way you talk to me. And I'm all about respect, okay? I'm all about respect. My marriage was the only time I let somebody constantly disrespect me without doing anything. That's it. But then after a while, what did I do? Like Paula Dean said, it was hard, but I walked away. It was hard, but I walked away. I mean, I didn't really have a choice, honestly. When somebody continues to just walk out of your life or walk away from you, you might as well join the walk. You know what I mean? Go the other way. So I'm not going to say I really had a choice, but I mean, the decisions ultimately forced me to walk away too, honestly. Again, as a man, you're only going to take so much when you get undervalued, unappreciated. You get people that are just really ungrateful for sure. So it doesn't matter how big or small the things may be. Sometimes some things need acknowledgement, especially with some situations and how they may play out. I mean, especially with this situation now, everybody talking to me about the post about the kid not being mine, but that's a true statement. And even with all of that, I've known about this for months, man. Like, y'all are not realizing, I've known about this for months on end. And throughout me knowing it all, I tried to do a maternity shoot. You know, I tried to do a baby shower. Like, how am I still being supportive with what I know, right? But I am. And none of that was appreciated. None of that was, it was all taken for granted. It was all swept under the rug. Like, it didn't matter. It's all good. Fuck it. You know what I mean? It really didn't matter. So it kind of pissed me off when I have these women, y'all are trying to attack me for what? Because y'all don't have the full story. Again, part of the story is still missing, but it's not my business to tell. Y'all know I'm not out to attack anybody's character, make them look bad. I'm just here to speak my truth. But something they got to be dealing with somebody else, I can't give away their business. That's on them. It is what it is at the end of the day. But just know, I had full reasonings, full rights to doubt this child. I still do. Until I get a DNA test that proves the child belongs to me, I have those doubts. You all don't know how bad that fucks up my mental, because you will never be able to relate. As women, you won't be able to relate. The men, the fellas can understand. It's crazy. And y'all attack me so much for it. And it's crazy. But I'll tell y'all something right now. I'm not the one to play games. Somebody commented on that post and they said, take this down. That's not okay. So I screenshotted the post that said, you take this down and you're better than this people. Y'all really get on my nerves. I screenshotted that and replied to her comment with it. Leave me alone. I can go back and forth with y'all all day too. How I feel is how I feel, right? Obviously, the person that put me in their position is not listening. So I'm going to talk about it somewhere. But I really just wanted to be left alone. And I kept getting bothered, even though I've been peaceful about the entire situation, no matter how long it's been or how long I've known. And the disrespect just had to stop somewhere. So it's so funny that the day I made that post, the disrespect stopped. I haven't heard from nobody. My phone hasn't, blocked anyway, but I haven't gotten any random emails, you know what I mean? I haven't gotten none of that. So it did its job. It left me alone. Now I can get my peace. Call it a day. But yeah, anyway, with that going on, a lot of people say, well, how can you say, because I'll say it again, marriages are just like pancakes. It is okay to throw the first one away. Perfectly fine. And then they go into it and say, well, how is that okay? Or how is it like this? Or how is it that? But let's be real. You have to be able to accept the fact that something didn't work out if you're willing to try it again. Because if you can't accept the fact that it didn't work out the first time, in your mind, you're going to feel like it's not going to work out every time after that. I'm just being honest with you. So, it's okay. It is okay. It's also okay to not be okay. Just thought I'd say that and throw it in there. And they said, well, with the marriage being done, what kind of healing did you do? And I said, healthy. Healthy healing, right? Nobody understood that until I put it into a perspective. I said, normally when something like this so drastic happens and it's so heavy on the heart for me and my feelings are so crushed and hurt, I look at the streets and I say, are you calling my name? Because I think I hear you calling my name. I think the streets want me to come back. And this time around, I didn't do any of that. I didn't go to the streets. I didn't jump in bed with the next person to get over the other. I learned myself. I took the time to sit there and deal with the issues I had with me. I took the time to deal with the issues I had with the other person. I took the time to realize that I cannot heal if I keep pushing my trauma back. And what I was doing with these other women is, I may be sleeping with y'all and having fun, but they'll tell you, I wasn't wanting a relationship. I don't want to be with nobody. It's more than one woman I'm dealing with, so you're not the only one. You know what I mean? Before you ask, I keep a golden ticket on me, so I got one of those. You know what I mean? There's so much to it that I was just the dog. I was Clifford. Oh, my God. But at least I was honest about it. Look, I don't want a relationship. I'm here to have fun. I'm here for a good time, not a long time, for lack of a better word. And that was very toxic, the way I used to do it that way. I would go in there and I would just sleep with who and whatnot and put myself back on the market and call it a day. But this time around, with the marriage ending, I was just like, why? I had no motivation to go back to the streets. As you all see now, I got a huge well, I ain't gonna say huge, but I got a collection of sex toys, whether it's a fleshlight, a masturbation toy, the oral masturbation toy, or an actual just sex doll. Like, I've got something to keep my discipline on go, because I realized that was very unhealthy, jumping from bed to bed. I was creating demons without even knowing. So that's when the marriage ended, I was just like, I actually want to heal. Like, I don't want to be hurt no more. You know what I mean? Like, I really woke up one day and I told myself, like, I just don't want to be hurt no more. I don't. And I need to know what to do to get past this hurt. And it's like, every time I go to bed with these different women, I'm still hurt. I'm still empty. I still feel away. And, man, when I tell you, like, I went through like, my eyes went through an opening, because the minute I realized, when I started working on myself, when I started working on me, when I started taking care of me, because I'll be honest with you, women, they're everywhere. They're anywhere and everywhere. Remember, they outnumber us, 3 or 4 to 1 now? So they're everywhere, right? But it wasn't about being around a woman. It was about being content with myself. I had to fight hard. I fought long. I fought for years to become the person I am, the man I am today. I really did. I'm so proud of myself for how well I leveled up in life. And I'm just happy that I'm still here. No matter what I'm going through, I'm still here, right? But I don't want to give myself the toxic energy of going back to an old me that didn't benefit me. Because now, you look at me and, God damn, I look good. Inside and out. Seriously. I love the person I am. I love the man I am. I love my personality. I love the way I joke. I love the way I play around. I love the way I work. I love the way I talk. I love the way I take care of my kids. I love the way I take care of home. I love everything about me now. So nobody can tell me I'm not worth it. Nobody can say to me that it's not worth it. So with my marriage ending, I don't feel like I wasn't worth it. I feel like I was undervalued by a person that didn't appreciate how great I was. But one day, I will get that appreciation, that acknowledgement. I will get that benefit of having a partner that understands the kind of man I am and appreciates everything about me. I'm not perfect, and nobody is. But I do be willing to try. I do be willing to put the work in and put the effort in. Nobody that knows me personally can tell you I'm the same Marquand from last year or the year before or 5 years ago. They will say he's a completely different man. It is what it is. It's all about healthy healing. You know what I mean? All of y'all say y'all healing and y'all keep going back sleeping with the person that you're trying to heal from. You cannot heal in the same environment that made you sick. It just doesn't work out that way. It doesn't work out that way. Like, I used to go around hurting feelings left to right. I didn't give a fuck who feelings I hurt. As long as it wasn't mine, it didn't matter. Right? But that wasn't cool. Because I was hurt. I was hurt, so I wanted to hurt other people. That's okay? I don't think so. No, I don't think so. In the moment, I thought it was okay, because I was causing pain to other people versus pain being caused to me. But I'm over that. I'm past all of that. I'm not out to hurt anybody. I'm not out to get revenge on anybody. I'm not out to do none of that. I just want to live my life and be happy. Be black and die. I just want to take care of my kids and be a great father, and that's it. I don't care for an extravagant life. I just want to be here and do what I got to do. Simple as that. I was going to say get it over with, but that sounded completely wrong. But I just want to be here and live in my skin to the best of my abilities. That's it. All it is. I don't need anybody else. Keyword. I don't need anybody else to make me happy. I have my children, and they make me happy. I can't tell you how many times throughout the day. So when you see that I'd rather choose to be around my kids than anybody else, that's because it's a genuine time. My kids don't care that they got a whooping earlier that day. They don't care that I yelled at them because they did something wrong. They understand, like, hey, you know, daddy still love us regardless of what's going on. My son said it. Like, I asked him, like, when I whoop you, do you think I don't like you, or you think I'm being mean to you? You think I don't love you? He said, no, I know you love me. I know you love me. Ain't no think. I know you love me. Just to hear my son say that, I know you love me, that was great. I'm doing my job as a father at that point. Because at his age, I didn't have that same. I couldn't say that my father loved me. I mean, he was a magician. He had the best disappearing act in the world. So I didn't have that same fulfillment of saying, I know you love me. I had the complete opposite. I don't think he even want me. You know what I mean? Hey, to each his own. But that's how I was feeling. So to see my kids and to see that they know that I love and support them, I'm just happy to see it. Because they're all I really care. That's the only opinion that matters to me are my children. You know what I mean? So when they get older, you think I did a good job raising you? I mean, I look like you turned out, you're respectable, you take care of your business, you do what you need to do. Do you think I did a good job raising you? I mean, even if they said no, I would, okay, well, tell me what I did wrong, what I needed to improve, just so I can know. I'm not going to get mad at them and tell them that they got me fucked up and I can't believe they would even say that and I did so much for them. No. Tell me where you think I lacked so I can make it better. Reassurance. It doesn't hurt to give. It doesn't hurt to give. So all in all, you know what I mean? Marriage is a hit or miss for some people. Don't go into it with the wrong ideas, right? Don't go into marriage for just the name of itself or because you think the other person looks good on your arm. Actually go into it with the understanding that marriages are tough. They take a lot of work. They take a lot of effort. You're going to have disagreements. You're going to have fights. And you're going to have uncomfortability. But if you get through all of those, I can guarantee you your marriage will be a success, regardless of how long it takes to get through it. As long as you try, as long as you put in the work, you'll be fine. I swear. I've never heard a couple that's married say to this day that it didn't work out because of forgiveness and communication and comprehension. They communicate, they comprehend, and they forgive each other. You don't have to forget, but it's easy to forgive. So yeah, I definitely wanted to let that be known and say that again. I may have ruffled some feathers today. I may have hurt some feelings, but I did speak my truth. I will say that for sure. I spoke my truth, and I will not deny it. So with that being said, I will catch you guys again next Wednesday, next week, for another live session for us to be talking and chatting it up here on Talk is Cheap. So definitely don't forget, if you do need to follow those socials, don't forget on Instagram and, no. I'm sorry. Facebook and Instagram is Choose Your Character. Instagram is still Talk is Cheap 702, or you got Juss Quanni or Juss Quanni 23. No, Quanni 702 as well. Instagram and Instagram is the same as Juss Quanni, JussQuanni. TikTok is Juss Quanni 23, and YouTube is the same thing. I actually just went and uploaded all the videos from TikTok to YouTube, so that's all good to go there. You'll see continuation, and I will catch y'all again next week on the hottest radio station on the planet, which is Hot 702.5 FM. Don't forget the point. I'll catch y'all next week. Peace, love, and hair grease. Look at those waves today. They look all right.